want some sauce?
Scene 1, Apple, take 1.
What's up everybody, how's it going out there? Today we are going to be making chicken parmesan, and I'm going to start with onion. And what we're going to do first is we're going to end up making a marinara sauce to go with the chicken parmesan. And by the magic of television, we have somewhat finely diced onion here. So what we're going to do, medium temperature here, medium low. We're going to put a little bit of olive oil inside here. Garlic. A little bit of red pepper flake. Give it a little bit of heat. A little bit of black pepper. We might add more a little bit later on. Salt. It already smells good in here. And what we're going to do is we are going to stir this up. And we want to saute this. Okay, so we're starting to get a little color there. And so now I'm going to end up putting in my tomatoes. And these are whole tomatoes. And so I'm going to kind of just squish them in my hand. And then put it inside here. I usually will squish it inside the can so it doesn't go all over the place. Now a lot of times these tomatoes are not going to have seasoning. Sometimes it does have seasoning. So after this cooks for a while, you need to taste it for once again, do you have to add sugar? Okay. Another thing you're going to taste is, does this need more salt and does this need more pepper? Okay, and that's the whole point behind it. So we got this guy doing pretty good right here, and we're keeping it at the same temperature. So this is dry basil leaves. Okay, we're going to throw a bunch of basil inside there. And generally when it comes to marinara, you wouldn't do this, but I'm going to. Just a little bit of oregano. You'll see oregano in things like pizza sauce, not so much a marinara, but in this case I'm going to be adding that. Okay, I'm also going to be lowering the temperature just a little bit. Okay, so now the longer we cook this, the better. Okay, but the longer we cook it, the more water is going to leave. So the thicker it's going to become as well. And so every now and then you're going to end up having to put some water in if you're planning on cooking it for a long time, or you're going to end up having to put a lid on it and keep an eye on it. So what I've got here is organic chicken breast. Okay, so now there's a couple of ways that we can do this. We could butterfly this open, or we can just cut this all the way through, or we can just smash the whole thing. Now, this is actually going to be, I'm actually going to be cooking this for 2 people, and both of them are fairly small stature. So I'm just going to cut this directly in half. Okay. Now, if you wanted to do this where it was just one solid piece, you would do the same thing, except not cut all the way through. You'd kind of stop it there. In this case, we're going to do all the way through. Put your hand on top. Get your knife. And just start slicing. Saran wrap, or you can use parchment paper, rolling pin, regular old all-purpose flour. And now what we want to do is we want to flour these guys up, and this essentially is going to be kind of creating like a paste or a glue from the juice of the chicken. We got 2 eggs, and I'm just going to be using a plastic fork so I don't have to get out my whisk and dirty it. The magic of television, they have been mixed. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to take our chicken that has been setting in the flour here, and we are going to dip it in the egg, and we're going to put breadcrumbs. This is Parmesan cheese. Now the breadcrumbs I'm using have Italian seasoning, but you don't have to put that in there. Okay. Adding a little bit of Parmesan, whether it's powdered like this or it's shredded, will help the flavor, kind of get the excess egg off. Okay, put that there. We'll grab the other chicken that has been sitting over here patiently, and we'll put this guy in the egg as well. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that this guy is completely coated all the way around. And I'm just throwing it up here like this so that way my fingers don't turn into breaded fingers. So now these guys are ready to fry up. So this has been simmering at a low temperature for a while here. Okay, and I like my stuff chunky style, but like I said, you can take an immersion blender and blend all of this stuff up to make it really, really thin if you want to, okay? There's something to me special about chunky style. Let's taste it, but the tomatoes are definitely sweet enough. I don't need to add any sugar to this. Now I have some fresh basil, but I'm not going to throw it in the marinara. I'm actually going to throw it in the cooked spaghetti. The marinara sauce is just fine. I'm just going to let it simmer for a little bit while longer, let it get a little thicker, let these flavors infuse a little bit more, but it tastes really good. Okay, so we have a pot of water on, and we are going to heavily salt the water. And we got our boiling, which is good. And what we're going to do is we're going to boil this at the same time as we fry up our chicken, so they can finish about the same time. And we'll just go ahead and kind of get this stuff to start bending a little bit here. There we go. So while that is boiling away, what we're going to do is, in a medium heat, we are going to be putting some olive oil. And during the time that this is doing its gentle frying here, I've turned the oven on to 300 degrees, and I'm doing it on the broiler, because after we're done flipping these guys here in just a few minutes, we're going to put some mozzarella on there, and we're going to put it under the broiler so that way it can melt. Let's take a look at the bottom of this guy. In just a minute or so, I'm going to put this inside the oven, but before I do, I'm putting a little bit of parmesan up on there. I'm taking some mozzarella, I'm putting that up on top as well. And this thing can go inside the broiler right now, because this is pretty much cooked through. Boiling, 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 get them noodles boiling. Okay, and we're looking for an al dente, which is just a nice way of saying it's almost completely cooked, but not 100%. And that's getting close. We have another minute or so. Okay, I'm going to turn this off because I think we're here at the appropriate, yeah, that looks pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to pour the water out. Alright, now what we need to do with these noodles is we're going to put a little olive oil, a little bit of salt, a little bit of black pepper, our fresh basil that I have cut up, and our marinara sauce. I'm going to put a little bit of that inside here as well. And now what we're going to do is we're going to stir this up and try to get it to coat everything. Alright, so let's go ahead and take some of our sauce and lay it down here. You know something, I'm a big tipper, so let's put some more. We're going to grab one of our chicken parms, which is nice and crispy now. Let's put a little bit more of the sauce up on top here. And we'll lay some noodles down next to it. Okay, and they call it chicken parmesan for a reason. We got to put some parm on here. You know, I think I'm going to throw this back in the oven. And this is the second one right here. Looking pretty good too. There you go, guys. Chicken parmesan, and you know that looks good. Come on. It smells good inside here too, I'm telling you. These noodles by themselves are going to be really good, but man, you add that crispy chicken with that parmesan and breading crust. Ooh-wee. That's it, man. That's good. Anyway, guys, if you like this video, make sure you hit like, make sure you hit subscribe, check out my other videos. I got a lot more like this. And until next time, talk to you later.